The trial of controversial pastor Timothy Omotoso continued in the Port Elizabeth High Court, where the first witness, Andisiwe Dike, described how she was lured into the moving to the church's mission house in Durban. Dike says one of the co-accused had sent her money to buy a bus ticket and told her to call Omotoso and to thank him. She says she was warned by church members before her journey, telling her the mission wasn't an easy place to live. Omotoso and his co-accused Lusanda Sulane and Zukiswa Sito face 63 main charges and 35 charges ranging from sexual assault to human trafficking and rape. The trial will not be broadcast live and there will be no recordings made of it. The judge dismissed an application by the media houses, including the SABC, to record and televise the trial. And let's go to SABC's Jayed-Leigh Paulse, who was in court and joins us now from PE. Good evening, Jayed-Leigh, and welcome to The Full View. Let's start off here. The very important question is, how did the judge come to the conclusion that the trial should not be televised, because with the previous trial, it was televised?
A very good evening to you, Aldrin, as well as to the viewers back at home. Well, first and foremost, it's good to see that the trial is finally proceeded, and we saw the first state witness take the stand today. But with regards to trying to get our cameras in, that being the media, a very big blow from Judge Irma Skuman, saying that unfortunately we can't televise the proceedings and take it live, broadcast it live for the viewers back at home. But really saying that the reasoning was because that it was in the best interest of the witnesses, Aldrin, saying that because of the trial starting de novo last year in July, she didn't see it fit that the trial should be televised. And I think it's got a lot to do with the way it was handled when Judge Mandela Makahula was presiding over the matter. You would know, if you've been following the case, that he had to recuse himself, and there were several allegations thrown from the media side saying that he owned that B&B. So there was a lot of stuff that came out, personal stuff from the judge's side, but also the televising of Cheryl Zondi's testimony, detailed graphic information. So I presume that was the reasoning behind Judge Irma Skuman's, dismissing those several applications, especially from the SABC and other media houses. Aldrin.
And even from the testimony of Andisiwe Dike, it was graphic as well.
That is correct. I mean, we sat in the court and we listened to her testimony. She started out very slowly for the better part of the morning, explaining how she got involved with the Jesus Community International Church, how her mother was actually the one that said she wanted Andisiwe to join the church, and then proceeded on to the latter part, saying that, once she got to that mission house in Mhlanga in Durban, she realized soon that something was amiss, something was wrong. She went there under the pretense of fixing her life. She said she wanted to change her life. She was stuck in a rut. She was 30 years old. And when she got to the mission house, she subsequently found 28 women, Aldrin, staying with Timothy Omotoso. Very young girls as well. Some of them never went to school. And she even went as far as saying that she was the oldest in the house. She then proceeded to go into the testimony, which detailed some graphic information of how Timothy Omotoso sexually molested her, sexually abused her. He summoned her several times to his room, again under the pretext of, massaging her, of massaging her, and then thereafter she would massage his feet, and then it obviously, went into something more, sinister, and she started seeing the warning signs. But because she was in Durban and because she was far away from her home, which was Pedi in the Eastern Cape, it was very difficult for her to break away from the house. She was also told, Aldrin, not to make any friends, and senior pastors' wives, Pastor Chooks, he's also a senior pastor in the Jesus Community International Church. Before she had left, she had a conversation with this woman, and she said to her that Andisiwe, don't make any friends in the house. So she went there with that notion of, I'm not going to make friends, I'm going to try and rebuild my life. This man is a savior. He's seen as a man of God. He'll be able to provide for me and to put me on the right path. And subsequently, when she got there, she found herself isolated.
Do we know how many witnesses will the state will call?
Well, in the initial indictment, there were 48 witnesses, but we're not sure if all those witnesses will be called this time. I presume that there possibly will be amendments, or we probably will see that play out. But I do know that the state prosecutor in Durban was said that they're trying to, put this down for 3 months, the third quarter of the year. Hopefully, they'll be able to get all the witnesses to testify, and then also with the cross-examining, and then also see Timothy Omotoso take the stand, as well as the two co-accused, Lusando Solani and Zukiswa Sito. Not sure yet if that's going to happen. I mean, we know by now that with the Timothy Omotoso trial, anything can happen, several applications can be filed, and there's probably more delays on the way.
And we'll be watching their trial very closely. Thank you so much, Jayed-Leigh, joining us from our PE, actually not actually PE studios, I think outside court. Thank you so much for your time. Let's move